Cain and Abel were the first two sons of Adam and Eve after they were sent out of the Garden of Eden. Cain, the older brother, worked as a farmer, tilling the soil and growing crops. Abel, the younger brother, became a shepherd, caring for the animals and raising flocks. As they grew, both decided to bring an offering to God to honor him. Abel chose the firstborn lambs from his flock, giving the very best he had as an offering to the Lord. Abel's gift showed a heart full of faith and reverence, seeking to please God. Cain also brought an offering from the fruits of the land he had harvested, but his offering did not carry the same devotion and purity of heart. The Bible tells us that the Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering, he did not look with favor. Seeing that God accepted Abel's sacrifice but not his own, Cain became extremely angry and his face fell with disappointment and resentment. God, knowing the thoughts of Cain's heart, spoke to him directly.
Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it.
God's words were both a warning and an encouragement, showing Cain that he still had the chance to do what was right and to rule over the sinful desire that threatened to take control of him. Despite God's warning, Cain allowed jealousy and bitterness to grow in his heart. He felt rejected and was consumed with anger toward his brother. Instead of overcoming his feelings, he let them fester and boil within him, unable to move past the perceived unfairness. Cain's emotions turned dark, and the bond between him and Abel began to fade, poisoned by resentment. Cain then approached Abel, asking him to go with him to the field, a place away from others. Abel, unaware of his brother's intentions, followed him. In the open field, where there was no one to intervene, Cain attacked Abel in a fit of anger and envy, striking him down and killing him. Abel's blood spilled onto the ground, marking the first death in human history, a tragic loss and the first murder, one brother betraying another. After the act, Cain felt a weight of guilt but tried to hide what he had done. Yet God, who sees all things, knew exactly what had happened and came to Cain with a question.
Where is your brother Abel?
This was not because God did not know, but because he was giving Cain the opportunity to confess and take responsibility for his actions. But Cain, still trying to hide his guilt, replied defiantly,
I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?
But God responded to him in sorrow and justice, symbolic of the innocent life taken by Cain, became a witness against him. God's voice was heavy with the pain of the betrayal and the loss of life. Because of his sin, God placed a curse on Cain as punishment.
Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth. The land, which had once provided for him, would now reject him as he had rejected his brother. Cain would no longer find a home or harvest.
In despair and fear, Cain cried out to God, saying,
My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me.
Cain's heart was overwhelmed, fearing he would be forever cast out and hunted down by others who might seek vengeance for Abel's death. But even in judgment, God showed mercy,
Not so.
said the Lord.
Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over.
Then the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one who found him would kill him. The mark was a sign of God's mercy, a protection for Cain despite the weight of his sin. Though he would live in exile, God's mark ensured he would not suffer death at the hands of others. Cain left the presence of the Lord and went to live in the land of Nod, east of Eden. His separation from God and his family marked the tragic consequences of his choices. He became a wanderer, a man burdened with his actions, carrying both the mark of his sin and the reminder of God's mercy. As Cain settled in Nod, he began to build a family and a city, trying to carve out a life despite his exile. But he would always bear the weight of his past, the first to show humanity the true cost of jealousy, anger, and sin. Cain's story echoes through the generations as a warning about the dangers of letting anger and jealousy take root, as well as a reminder of God's justice and mercy, even in the face of great sin.
Thank you for watching. What did you learn from this story? Let's know in the comment section. Please subscribe, like and share.